Oh, I got 3 viewers. We got it. Whoa.
Hello.
What?
Did you pay for that?
California parking spiders. Did you say, did you pay for that?
Did you pay for that? I don't even know what that means.
No, but I guarantee that's what I say the next time someone farts in our family.
A friend's a guy who will help you move. A best friend's a guy who will help you move a body. That's how I look at it.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. Is it spring yet? Please welcome your hosts, comedian Darin Cox, +1.
Hello, I'm Darin.
I am Michael.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome, Cincinnati's comedy podcast. This is episode 189.
We are excited and thrilled.
Yes.
And beside ourselves with glee.
Yes.
That you have decided to join us, that you've decided to put in your head, through your ears, our voices, with whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're driving to work, from work, to the grocery store, from the grocery store, hiding a body, whatever you're doing right now.
Yeah, we're happy that you're doing that with us.
Yeah. On a flight, I hope it goes okay and the door doesn't fly off and you get sucked out.
Wow.
But if it does...
Why don't you just say you hope they don't have a bird strike, Mike?
If it does, you'll
God.
have us in your ears all the way down.
If you do crash on a deserted island, I hope that you still have reception on your phone and you can listen to this podcast.
You know what? I want to talk to somebody.
I should cut that out.
Who's very sciencey.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to charge your phone and get reception while on an island so that they can continue to download our episodes.
Solar power.
Yeah.
Ain't got nothing but solar power out there. Brah.
How you doing?
I'm good.
We haven't talked in a while.
No, we haven't.
We've had all these damn guests on
I know.
here.
One. We were supposed to have a guest tonight, but he had to postpone. So that guest will come on at a later time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who that guest was later. Yeah. On this episode, I went to see one of my favorite comedians of all time, Mr. Nate Bargatze, and you won't believe who I met in the stadium.
That's awesome. I had some would say it's a senior moment, a somewhat embarrassing, but also... I think, very joyous moment in Kroger.
Yeah.
So I get the Kroger story of the week this week. That's my...
I know, it's very rare that you get that, but I'm looking forward to it.
Stuff doesn't happen to me anymore at Kroger. It just rarely does now.
I know. So when you had told me that, I was so excited. Yeah.
Speaking of Kroger, they finally fixed their urinal. So if you need to pee, you can go into Kroger and you can pee. And they went over to their housewares section, got some air deodorizer, and there's no urine smell in there. Like no trucker urine smell. It's a normal.
It smelled like you were
store.
off I-75.
Yeah, and it had they had that big brown trash bag with duct tape across it in the urinal, and a hand scrawled note that said "out of order."
Out of order.
Like no.
Yeah.
And there was always somebody pooping in one of the stalls. You had to go to the other one, and while you're trying to pee, all you're hearing is,
"Oh yeah, oh yeah." Okay.
And they put paper in the paper dispenser and actual soap in the soap dispenser.
Wow.
So now they don't have that dial soap dispenser thing and a roll of paper, slightly moist paper towels in the Kroger
They're not.
bathroom.
Thanks, Kroger.
It's only been a year and a half. But they finally fixed it.
It has been a while, and I was going to mention that one time, but I didn't want people going, how come all your stories involve you using the bathroom? Because I constantly have to pee. That's why. That is why. Before we get any further into it, we want to let you know that if you go to irritabledadsyndrome.com, you can download every single episode we have. And if you ever decided that you wanted to help us out, you could go to Patreon. And now is the best time to go to Patreon because we have just hundreds of clips and hours of footage and bonus audio. And it's, you know what? There's all kinds of payment plans on there. So you can do the small, you can do the big, and you get free stuff with it. We don't mention that. You get you get gifts and stuff.
The ring thing, the voicemail thing.
That's right.
You get a Christmas card. And every once in a while, just randomly, we'll send people.
Our patrons got a poster this year. So go to irritabledadsyndrome.com. A few weeks ago, we were on the radio we were on with Chris and Janine on WGRR. They were retiring, and it was their very last episode, and they put us on the prestigious guest list. And by prestigious, I mean the who's who of Cincinnati were there. I mean, just like all kinds of weather people and news anchors and Cincinnati Reds players and other radio personality. It was really a big deal.
I had no idea who anybody was.
Well, the funny thing was, and I forgot to mention this, was I got a look at the guest list. The guy at the door was checking everybody. Janine, who invited us, keeps forgetting Mike's name.
Yeah.
And so we were on the list as Darin Cox, comedian, +1.
+1.
So, Mike, you are my +1, buddy.
And my favorite thing, now that we've talked about this, my favorite thing is that right before we went live, Janine said, okay, your name is Mike. Now, how do you say your last name? Odell?
Yeah.
How do you say it? And she repeated it a couple times.
Yeah.
And then she immediately went, okay, and we're back. And then we've got Darin Cox and I'm like, me, the guy, the +1 who's here.
One of our great friends, Darin Cox, is in the house.
Good morning.
Hey.
And Mike
Odell.
Yes. Mike Odell. I'm like, Mike, how do you pronounce your last name? Mike Odell.
I even put on a nice shirt. Did you see the shirt?
You did.
I had a button-up shirt.
And you smelled nice.
Did I?
Yeah.
I washed.
Yeah.
You
washed.
I washed.
So anyway, I'm happy to have you as my +1.
I'm happy to be your +1.
Strange but true.
Well, thank you, Darin Cox and Mike Odell.
Yes.
I got it. I got it.
Can I kick it off with the Kroger?
Absolutely.
All right.
It's time now for the Kroger Story of the Week.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay. I was on this is going to shock some people. I was on a U2 kick. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, and I'm like,
that's kind of rare anymore.
Yeah. So I put on the greatest hits of the 80s. They have multiple greatest hits albums. There's one of the 80s to the 90s.
That one's the better one.
Yeah.
Right? Uh-huh. Because everything after 90 just sucks from them.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll thank you to shit it while I tell this story. Anyhow, I had that on. I'm jamming. I get gas at the Kroger gas thing, and then I'm jamming all the way over. I take my phone from the car. Now, I'm playing through the Bluetooth. All right? Put the phone in my back pocket. All right? I walk into Kroger, and I hear U2. I'm like, oh.
That's a coincidence.
That's weird. They're playing, what I was just playing. They're playing in here. I get my cart. I start going through. I had to pee. I stopped off at the previously discussed bathroom.
Yeah.
And I go into the stall. I hear With or Without You really loud. And I'm like, wow, they're piped it in here. They got With or Without You playing in here. And the part where he does the it hasn't gotten there yet. I'm washing my hands with the soap that they've put in there now.
I can't live.
And I'm walking out, and as I'm going by the Starbucks, now in hindsight, all the people around Starbucks and in the cheese section, their heads spun around and looked at me.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I remember that happening. At the time, I was thinking, wow,
They
I
must
can
be
hear
looking
that.
at my shirt.
I can hear that just as loud out here as I can in the bathroom. So I keep going through the store leisurely. And then New Year's Day comes on, and then I found what I'm looking for, Where the Streets Have No Name. And I stopped, and I'm like, I'm near the end of my trip at this point. And I'm like, they must be going through a U2 marathon on the radio.
Yeah.
And I stopped to pull out my phone to text you to tell you that I have a Kroger Story of the Week that they just keep playing U2. And as I pull my phone around, I noticed it got really loud. And it was coming from my phone. I had U2 blaring 100% volume from my ass all through Kroger for 5 songs. These songs are 4 to 5 minutes each. 25 minutes. That's a long
time
to walk around with a band playing out of your ass, and you have no idea.
Because when have you ever heard them play a greatest hits of anybody?
Nothing.
Never.
I was
Never.
like, yeah, the reason I stopped was because I was like, they haven't even, the DJ, you'd think they would come on, sometimes they have 2 for Tuesday, 3 for whatever.
No, not at Kroger, they don't.
This is like 5 in a row. Like, wow. They're really going for it. Nope. Old man Odell is walking around with one of the newfangled phones just blaring stuff out of his butt. Immediately, I felt my face go blood red. I turned it off. I was in the candy aisle. I remember this specifically.
Yeah.
And there was a lady looking at candy, and she looked up at me when I turned my phone off.
Like,
and I didn't even have anything pleasant to say.
Yeah.
I just looked at her and I put my phone back in my pocket and I left. I didn't even get my candy. I had to get away from her and out of there.
Nice.
My Kroger story.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was in there one time and they were playing, they used to call it elevator music.
Yeah.
Like
Muzak.
Muzak,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then they got away from that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember when they got away from that. And I don't remember the last time I heard music in an elevator. They don't play music in the elevator anymore. So that term has completely gone away, literally.
They don't play music
the
in the
term,
elevator?
when was the last time you were in an elevator? Especially an Otis elevator.
Are you
If
really?
you're not in an Otis elevator, you should take the stairs. But that's gone away. But I was in Kroger, and they were playing Welcome to the Jungle, which I thought was odd. Now,
think that
granted,
would-
it's Cincinnati, and they've kind of adopted that
Yeah.
as the Bengals theme song.
Yeah. Makes more sense than
I
Jungle
thought that
Gems,
was an
though.
odd choice. I'm like, what's up? What's next? Highway to Hell?
Yeah.
A little rainbow in the dark, perhaps?
I have a thing that Kroger can do. Take less time figuring out what songs you're going to play and more time figuring out how to keep your produce fresh
Okay.
and your urinals not busted up.
Yeah.
If you could do those 2 things.
Good plan. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm past the Kroger being a sponsor.
Yeah.
I'm just now going to let it fly.
They were never going to be a
No,
sponsor.
they were never.
But no, I was in there one day, and they're playing Me and Mrs. Jones by Billy Paul. And
Oh, okay.
And I'm Me and Mrs.
I was thinking of that Counting
Mrs.
Crow songs.
Mrs. Jones, and I'm singing just like that, like top of my, because I don't care. I really, really don't care. And they're looking at me, and this lady smiles, and I thought for a second she was going to come over and do a duet with me. That would have been, sir, ma'am, we need you to leave the produce department.
This has been the Kroger Story of the Week.
I've never heard Blaze of Glory in Kroger.
Oh, I
but
have.
If I do,
Yeah.
I will sing along at the top of my, because that's one song that I can nail every word and every point of it from beginning to end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shot down in a blaze of glory. Yeah, good song.
Take me now.
Yeah, the more I think about
Know
it,
the truth.
I'm
going out. I gotta stop.
Even though it doesn't have Richie on it, because it's a John Bon Jovi.
It's a John Bon Jovi joint
from Young Guns 2.
Yes,
it was a theme from Young Guns 2.
How do you feel about the Young Guns duo?
I liked them. I don't remember enough about them. I remember when I watched them, I was entertained, but I haven't watched them since, and it's been probably 30 years since I've seen Young Guns.
So the Young Guns 1 and 2 soundtrack is something that I had downloaded onto my phone when we went out to Death Valley. And that just kind of fits that whole area. Yeah.
There was like a big star in the first one that wasn't in the second one. Was that Emilio? Or was that Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen?
Charlie Sheen
Lou
died
Diamond
in the
Phillips.
first one. Spoiler. Charlie Sheen died in the first one.
Charlie Sheen, yeah.
Yeah.
Lou Diamond Phillips, Kiefer Sutherland.
Casey Sumako was in the first one.
Who's never been seen or heard of again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
and I hear
the dude in the dude with the chaw. It's like, you see the size of that chicken? That guy. He was in like a few romantic comedies right
Jesse
after that.
the Body Ventura?
No, but he looks like him.
Yeah.
He looked like him.
Did you see the size of that chicken?
They all take peyote in the desert with Chavez, and he's high and he sees a giant chicken.
Don't remember that at all.
Yeah. It's worth a rewatch.
Nice.
They're both really good movies. It's weird because they were kind of one of the weird gimmicks of them was that they were Westerns, but they had modern like rock and pop music. That was like I remember that was a thing.
Yeah.
That kind of, it holds up for, it's weird. Like people now will watch it if you didn't grow up with it and you'll like roll your eyes because it's weird seeing a Western with, but like, it's,
So
as a Gen Xer that grew up with it.
Pig is on the soundtrack.
Yes.
A beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like it's got a nostalgia thing to it, and it's awesome.
Uh-huh.
But I could see, like, if I watch it with my kids, this is one. If Predator didn't hold up, I know Young Guns 1 and 2 are not going to hold up. But what's his face? William
Shatner?
No, William Peterson from CSI, the CSI guy, the original CSI guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's what's the guy? The guy that killed Billy the Kid, supposedly.
Okay.
Sheriff, what's his face? With the mustache. Come on, help me
Roscoe P. Coltrane.
out. No.
Oh, don't you get it? Put that back, you.
Billy the Kid's best friend. Oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. We can't go forward until I got to look it up.
Okay.
We're not moving forward.
We interrupt this podcast while Mike looks at his Google.
I gotta.
Current temperature outside is.
Oh my
7
God,
degrees.
it's Patrick. It's Patrick something.
Wind chill factor is. It feels like 13 degrees below zero.
Oh my God, Billy the Kid. Patrick Garrett.
Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid.
He looked nothing like William Peterson.
No, he did not.
So
No.
he was born in 1850
Oh, well, there you go. It's a good year.
to Mr. and Mrs. Garrett.
Well,
They-
do you know that they were married?
No,
Okay.
they owned a farm out on Stone
Okay.
Stone
So
Creek.
let's try and keep it all factual.
Yeah. But hey, if you remember, Young Guns 1 ended with the big battle. They were in a house,
Yeah.
and the nasty sheriff and all those guys
You
were
get
out
your
there.
ass out of this town.
They had a Gatling gun, remember that? And it was a cranky thing.
Yep.
And it ended with them.
Which
and-
they also had in Predator.
Yeah. And Billy the Kid had the thing where he's like, you want to live forever? And you could tell when it showed the faces.
That was Emilio Estevez, right?
Emilio Estevez.
Okay.
And when it looked at the other actors, most of them, you could tell they did indeed want to live
Yeah.
longer.
Well, sure they did.
But he had that crazy glint in his eye.
Yeah.
Here's a little known fact.
Okay.
Between the two brothers, sons of Martin Sheen,
Yeah.
Emilio was the more level-headed.
Yes.
But back in the day, it seemed like he was kind of the loose cannon.
yeah. I always felt bad for him because I thought that Demi Moore had broken his heart.
Really?
Yeah.
When did they date?
When?
Did
Oh my
they
God!
date?
Did you never see About Last Night?
No.
When it was
That was Rob Lowe, wasn't it?
Yeah, Rob Lowe was in that, but that's around the time that Demi Moore and Emilio Estevez were a thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were ever a thing.
Yeah, they were a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, her and Bruce Willis had a little fling.
Yes.
Yeah.
She also had an affair with John Cryer, Ducky from Pretty in Pink. He was talking about that, and I was like, she hooked up with Ducky. Yeah.
Yeah.
My man.
Do you know Emilio Estevez was in a movie with Mick Jagger? Free Jack.
Okay.
Remember that?
No. No, but there. Okay, you want to go down on Emilio Estevez?
Let's go,
Okay.
man.
There was, and I don't remember the name of the movie. There was a great movie with him and Cuba Gooding Jr. and Dennis Leary's the bad guy, and they had rented that
Judgment Night.
Judgment Night.
Was he in that?
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez was in Judgment Night.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. He and Cuba Gooding Jr. were driving that like a Winnebago or something, or a van rental. It got busted down.
And they had the one guy, Jeremy Pinner.
Yeah.
The guy, he's in like
Yeah,
Entourage.
Yeah.
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 I've always dug him.
Oh, really?
He's always
I've
the
always
guy-
hated him. I'm
Well,
sure he's a nice guy.
He's back in the day. I thought, oh, he's not a very good actor. He
he's
just
good,
seems
yeah.
like
Yeah,
seems like one of those guys. But
Yeah.
then it dawned on me, wait, he seems like one of those guys because he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
Like he's well, he does well.
But Dennis Leary just acted his ass off
Oh.
and just killed it as the bad guy,
Oh,
the
yeah.
gang leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to watch that again.
Yeah, Emilio Estevez. See, that movie was a big deal because they brought a bunch of grunge bands and a bunch of rap groups together,
Yes,
and
that
everybody
soundtrack was-
collaborated.
yes.
You had Pearl Jam, and I forget who it was.
Wu-Tang Clan,
Maybe Faith No More was with
Faith Hill,
Were they? Okay,
No.
Slayer was with somebody.
Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill and Slayer.
It was Cypress Hill and
Jeez.
Faith Hill,
Um,
the Sugar Hill Gang.
we're the worst podcast to listen to if you're on your way to a trivia night. But yeah, they had traveling at the speed of light. You played yourself. There I was, just I can't.
Yeah.
And it had the sample from Tom Petty's "Falling Free fall in the background.
Yeah.
Teen fan club something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Anyway,
movie. Check it out.
yeah, Emilio, but he dropped off the
He did.
map. He
For a
came
long
back
time.
briefly when I thought for about 2 seconds that he was the other Hobbit in Fellowship of the Ring.
No, that
I
wasn't
thought
him.
he was Sam. For 2 seconds, I was like, it's Emilio Estevez. And then I realized
Nope.
it wasn't.
Nope, it's not
it
him.
was, Pete from the Goonies.
Yes.
Or Norman, or whatever the hell his name was.
Give the ball to Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've always loved the Young Guns movies.
Yeah.
There were rumors of a third one.
Yeah.
And they could just never get their together.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And now I think
It's-
they probably could, but they need to get Emilio back up on a horse. And what's he going to do? I mean,
It's way too late to wake that horse up.
I'd like to see
What?
I'd like to see Lou Diamond Phillips get out there and just tear it up.
Well,
they
now-
need to John Wick him.
Okay, did you ever see the TV series Longmire?
No.
One of the greatest TV shows in the past 20 years.
Okay.
Honest to God.
Yeah.
It's set in Wyoming. I think it's Wyoming. It's out west. There's a sheriff, and he is Walt Longmire. Okay. And he's old school. He doesn't want a cell phone. He doesn't like technology.
Yeah.
He just figures his stuff out the way he wants to do it.
Yeah.
And Lou Diamond Phillips
Uh-huh.
is his buddy, and he runs the Red Pony at the bar in town.
Okay.
I'm telling you what, every single episode, one better than the next.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
It was
I need to watch that.
Amazing. I loved every second of that show.
Speaking of shows that rhyme with Longmire is The Wire.
Uh-huh.
And I need to watch that. I've heard that's the greatest show ever made.
Haven't seen anything like it since The Wire. God, he never shuts up about those shows.
With the exception of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
The Wire.
So I feel like I screwed up by watching Breaking Bad because The Wire was always on my list.
Yeah.
And now
It's
that I've watched
on Max.
I know, but I watched like the first episode.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried. And, the guys who did that did Homicide: Life on the Street.
Okay.
Which is my third favorite show of all time.
Yeah.
Okay, with Andre Braugher, who passed away a month ago.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Okay.
Incredible actor. But
Yeah.
my God, Homicide: Life on the Street was amazing.
Yeah.
After that went off the air because NBC screwed them.
Yeah.
They kept moving them around all the time.
National Broadcasting
The
Corporation.
National Broadcasting Company. I'm
Yeah.
coming after you, NBC. They kept
Yeah.
screwing with Homicide: Life on the Street. The critics loved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it won a Peabody Award. It won Andre Braugher won an Emmy Award for Best
Okay.
Acting. And it was just every episode was absolutely amazing. And it was it was great.
I went through a period of about 10 years where it didn't matter if TV ceased to exist or not.
Yeah.
About 10 years of that. And now, like, I stream everything. It doesn't really matter. Like, if a show comes on, now everything's weird.
Yeah.
Because you can just, like, what's that called? Binge watch it.
But the thing with
watch
Homicide was
Yeah.
it was so amazing, and then it went off the air.
Yeah.
And the guys who created it went on and did The Wire, and everybody started saying, "Oh my God, The Wire's so amazing!"
Yeah.
And I didn't want to watch The Wire because I'm like, no, you guys, you shouldn't watch this show because you didn't watch this show. You don't deserve The Wire,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Because you poo-pooed all over Homicide: Life on the Street.
Yeah.
This portion of Irritable Dad Syndrome is brought to you by Otis Elevators. Hi, I'm your buddy Dave Lay. I am brand loyal, and the only elevator I ever step foot in is an Otis. There's nothing like the feel, the smell, and the comfort of an Otis elevator. Being inside an Otis, well, it just feels like home. Now, back to the show.
So I went to see Nate Bargatze.
Nate Bargatze.
He came to Cincinnati. I took Mom. Okay. Libby and I and the boys, we took Mom to see Nate Bargatze for her birthday.
Okay.
She's got a birthday coming up.
Happy birthday.
Her birthday's tomorrow. She was out of her mind excited. She was laughing her butt off. She enjoyed it was like the best birthday present I've ever given her.
That's awesome.
And so I was thrilled to do it.
My great aunt Helen from the 30s. She's deaf. They didn't know she was deaf until she was 9 years old. That's how long it took them to figure it. Deaf, one of the easier ones to figure out. And the doctors were baffled as they smoked in her face.
everything he said was funnier than the last thing he said. And he was just so calm and just, he never breaks a sweat. I just don't know how he does it, how he does the things that he does. But before the show, there was these guys sitting behind me, and they're just talking. And I thought, oh boy, this is how it's going to be all night. This is going to be
a problem.
And there's a guy walking up the steps, and I will admit, he kind of looked like Nate Bargatze.
Uh-huh.
And the guys behind me tapped me on the shoulder, and they said, hey, do you know a lot about Nate Bargatze? And I said, well, yeah. I mean, I've seen almost all his specials, and I've seen him live before. Why? And they go, that's his brother. It's not his brother.
Yeah.
It's not. And he comes and he walks up and he sits behind us, and they keep calling him Nick Bargatze.
Okay.
Nick. And so I got my picture taken with, and he does look like him.
Okay.
So when I said you won't believe who I met, that's why you won't, because I met nobody that you would.
So I'm gonna Saul Goodman this story. Can I? Okay. Yeah. So you told the Breaking Bad side of it. I'm gonna tell the Saul Goodman. I'm gonna tell a story from the other side of your post. We had one of those situations where me and Bess were laying in the same room on our phones, just doom scrolling, like that. And then you posted your about Nate Bargatze's brother,
Nick Bargatze.
Yeah. And so I saw it, and I did the standard thing that you're supposed to do, which is, just kind of snorted out of my nose, and scrolled on, whatever. I think I may have. I was like, I don't know if it's worth a like, or maybe a laugh. I don't know. Darin's a little down. I
think you put the laugh emoji.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just feeling generous.
Yeah.
And then Bess, from her side of the room, she's like, no way. And she's in the middle of saying that. And I'm like, no, he didn't. It's Darin didn't. I didn't know which way to go with it. I didn't know whether to say he's trying to be funny or he's just an idiot. And that's not really Nate Bargatze's brother. Either way would get me to the same thing. Is just, do I call you an idiot or do I say you're just trying to be funny? And for the life of me, I can't remember which one I chose. Probably a little bit of both.
So Bess believed me.
I think for like a second, she's no way. And I was like, it's not.
And if she had known, we were seated row from the top.
That's what I said. I was like, if Nate,
we were all the way up. We were one row away from the very, very top.
You reminded me, because I said if his family were there, he wouldn't put them in the nosebleeds back there. They would be like,
hey, what happened?
Front row. I'd like to think off that to the side or backstage.
Yes.
Let's just say if I became like a successful comedian, I'm not going to put my kids and Bess back by the hot dog stand. I'm going to put them like right there.
If my brother did a show, that's where he'd put me. But still.
Yeah.
Now, this is true.
Okay.
I'm going to, because I posted something about it the next day. I have a friend, and he has a friend. Daughter babysits, or used to babysit, for Nate Bargatze.
Really? Wow.
I'm like, wow.
Wow.
So I know a guy who knows a girl whose daughter babysat Nate Bargatze's daughter.
Yeah.
But I am 5 people connected.
Yeah.
From Nate Bargatze.
You're listening to Irritable Dad Syndrome, Cincinnati's comedy podcast.
What in the hell kind of sales approach is that? You boys couldn't sell $1 for 50 cents.
We're probably never going to be famous, but it would be fun. I would want to hear these stories. Like, I used to know somebody who lived right next to Mike. He never mowed his lawn.
Yeah.
He never raked the leaves.
Never raked his leaves. He had a bag of dog poop.
Bag of dog poop right there in his tree for years. And it fell, and he went out and took a picture of it and left it there.
At my old house, we used to have these birds that built nests underneath our porch, and then they got really defensive. And when you'd walk out, they'd swoop in, and they'd hover around your head, right? And they were, I don't know what kind of birds they were, but I hated them.
Yeah.
And they would like try to attack you. So one day I'm out in the driveway
with a tennis racket.
And a hose.
Okay. Oh, a hose.
And the hose. And I would wait for them to get like an inch away, and then I'd spray them. But for a while now, I really thought, I'm that dumb. I thought I can get them with the tennis racket. I'm out there swinging this tennis racket with the hose in my other hand.
Yeah.
And my neighbor, Graham, is like, Tara, you need to come out here and see this. There I am.
Yeah.
In the driveway with the hose and a tennis racket trying to kill a bird.
What do they call
that
the
son of a bitch? Oh
Yeah.
man, I did not like that bird.
Is that how Bad Bitten started?
Yeah, I think so. That's
Some dudes
that's why
out
they
there-
call it a birdie.
Yeah, it's birdie.
Yeah.
It's birdie. It's called a cock, isn't it? That's what you're hitting is a cock, a shuttlecock.
A shuttlecock.
Shuttlecock.
Yeah.
It's different than a cock.
Yeah, much different. You don't want to get hit with one of those. No.
Yeah.
This portion of our show is brought to you by Diff Liquid Concentrated Wallpaper Stripper. With its unique enzyme action, Diff dissolves old paste and cuts wallpaper removal time in half. That's right, half. Hi, I'm Dave Lay, and I've said this many times before. I am nothing if not brand loyal, and the only wallpaper stripper I ever use is Diff. I love this product so much, sometimes I hang wallpaper just so I can go back in a couple weeks and strip it off with Diff. My wife says I have a problem, but what the hell does she know? Diff is the only one that really works. Did I mention that no steamer is needed? Anybody who uses anything besides Diff is a deadbeat loser. So what are you waiting for? Run by your corner hardware store and grab a cart full of Diff. And tell them you heard about it on Irritable Dad Syndrome. Now, back to the show.
I had a gig. I had a professional
drumming gig.
I had a professional drumming gig.
Tell the folks about your professional drumming gig. Did you open for The Who?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not.
Okay.
No, there is a comedy club
Okay.
in Newport, Kentucky. No,
Yeah.
Dayton, Kentucky,
Dayton.
which is right next to Newport. Okay.
Okay.
You take the Newport exit and you keep driving, and Dayton.
There's a Dayton, Kentucky?
There's a Dayton, Kentucky.
They ran out of names in Kentucky and they're like, just use Dayton. Nobody cares about
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. So the comedy club used to be a church.
Okay.
Okay. Basically, what they did was they took the cross down and all the pews and put in some tables and put a big screen on the wall that says comedy. And that's this comedy club in Dayton, Kentucky. There's a drum set there when you're facing the stage, just to the left. And they, like a few months ago, had reached out and said, hey, we're looking for a drummer to play and basically play interstitial music.
Okay.
So whenever somebody walks up to the stage, you play them on.
Okay.
Like what Paul does
or
did when an act would walk out as a guest.
But you got to use like forgettable. You can't just start playing Sunday Bloody Sunday when they're walking up.
Yeah.
It doesn't go well.
That was pretty good.
Comedy. That was pretty good. It's gonna be like. Please tell me.
Yeah.
Please do this.
Yeah.
If you ever get this gig again, I want you to get as many of these as you can.
Okay.
And I want someone to trip on their way up, and I want you to go.
I reached out to the guy. I know the guy. I've done comedy with him at Go Bananas.
Okay.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, hey, if you need a drummer, man, I'm happy to do it. And if you need anyone to, if you have any openings for stand-up, I can do that as well. He says, okay, great, I'll keep you in mind. And we talked and said, yeah, that's we'll definitely do this. I was like, great. Months went by. I thought, well, they either aren't using a drummer or they're not interested in me. I get a thing saying, hey, do you want to do this next weekend? I said, absolutely. So I drove down there, brought my sticks. They got their kit. I didn't even have to set up or tear down.
Yeah.
And I go downstairs and I'm talking to all the other comedians and they said, oh, you're the drummer. Are you going to do a rim shot? And I said, I will if you want me to.
Yeah.
I said, and they said, well, anytime I bomb, give me a rim shot. I'm like, do you want me to be the judge when you bomb? Because I will, And they said, and I didn't because I wasn't going to interrupt them or just get them off track or something like that. So I think through the night combined, I may have played a minute and a half of music. And I loved it. And I just sat there and I waited for, So one person was, one person, dang. And then one guy, I gave him the floor tom.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And I did something different for every person. And I'm sort of like, well, what am I? Oh, doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
I was like, I got paid. I am a professional drummer.
That's awesome.
The headliner came out and she was joking about how all the comics are white and everybody except for maybe one person or two people in the audience was white.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, this is like the whitest night ever. And we've got like the most racist looking drummer you could ever have.
Well, what?
And I was like, what? I went, and then I waved at everybody like, hi.
What's a racist drummer
I
look
had
like?
an animal t-shirt on from the Muppets.
Okay.
She's like, the most racist looking drummer we could ever have.
Is it because you're bald?
I don't know.
Was it
I
that
had
you're
a hat.
skinhead?
You couldn't
Yeah,
even
okay,
you couldn't
all
tell
right.
that I was bald.
Okay.
Wow. I'm like, all right. And then afterwards she says, oh, sorry I was roasting you up there. I'm like, hey, you got to laugh. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. If they invite me back, I'm going back. Yeah. I found something at Kroger the other day that raises more questions than it could possibly ever find the answers for.
Okay.
Jif makes squeezable peanut butter, which is fine. And the package says stress-free, mess-free.
What the hell was that?
Really? If you're getting stressed out from, getting peanut butter out of a jar, you need a therapist.
I get stressed out about peanut butter, so this is a product made for
Why?
me. I'm going to explain to you exactly why. You remember a few weeks ago, we talked about how it's possible to put the cereal back and then get it back from the closet when you want more cereal later.
Yeah.
Anytime someone gets peanut butter in this house, they close the peanut butter jar.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone closes the jar all the way. Some people just put the lid on top and don't close it.
Mm-hmm.
They all put the knife that they just used, balance it on top of the jar. Now, there's been times when I've come in there and I've seen that, and I take the knife, I put it in the sink where good God-fearing Christian knives go.
Yes.
And I've reached over and I've grabbed the lid of the peanut butter and lifted it and knocked the peanut butter over because it wasn't attached. And then sometimes it is attached, but it's loose. And I put it away, and I never hear anything about it. The cereal, every once in a while, I've heard someone has come in the room and I get the... I was going to have more cereal. And you still can. You still can.
Well,
it's still possible.
You're screwed, Tony.
I have not ever heard anyone come in and say, I was going to spread more peanut butter.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, I guarantee you, when I'm the first one up every morning, there will be a peanut butter jar with a knife balanced on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the peanut butter fairy came to get peanut butter in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So this is a product for me.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to leave a knife out. It sounds like it's like the toothpaste thing where it goes and sucks back up in, and you put it down and it goes, it's stress free. This is a product made for people who live with people who leave peanut butter with the knives out.
Nope. No. And I call on this because I'm telling you, someone's going to leave it open. Okay. So it's gonna dry out. Right where it squirts out, it will dry out because it's not closed.
Yeah,
that'll
happen.
And then if you squeeze it, someone's going to squeeze it from the middle, like the toothpaste, which gives me anxiety because just squeeze it from the bottom. My kids twist it like they're trying to strangle a stranger on a train. They twist it and squeeze it from the middle. Yeah. So you squeeze it from the end, right? And I'm sorry, but just because it's in a squeeze tube does not mean it's mess free.
Yeah, it's true.
My God, because toothpaste, I don't know how my kids brush their teeth, but it's like they brush and then they just go all over the mirror. So yeah, let's just leave the peanut. Who left the peanut butter squirter open? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
The peanut squirter.
And it's just, it goes back to that Brian Regan routine where they put peanut butter and jelly in the same jar.
Yeah.
Goobers. Yeah. He says, how lazy are you? Why don't you just put some croutons in there and just squirt a sandwich onto a spoon? Could somebody feed this to me? Yeah. The Jif people.
Is it creamy only? It has to be creamy.
It has
They're
to
not
be
going to
because
put
if it's crunchy, it wouldn't come out of the jar.
I got no time for it then because I'm a crunchy guy.
Yeah.
Are you crunchy or creamy?
Well, I like creamy, but I like crunchy too.
Yeah, one's got to win. Which one? Gun to your head. You can only have one for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And that's just because everybody else likes,
piss on everybody else. You're on a desert island. It's your own peanut butter. What do you want?
I haven't had crunchy in so long. I don't remember what it, but I mean, I did like it.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you, I've been meaning to tell you this for weeks. Yeah. You have changed the way I do something.
Oh boy.
You'll be thrilled to know that I do something, an everyday thing around the house, I now do differently.
You cut your pancakes into a grid.
No, I do not, because that's what communists do.
Yeah. What do you do?
I put my cream in the bottom of the cup and then put it under the Keurig, and the coffee comes down into the cream, and oh my God, is it better?
Oh, yeah.
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 Because you're drinking it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then like there's like an extra bonus of sweet goodness at the
Oh,
bottom.
yeah. Sometimes it's a little
What
too
the
much for me.
hey? What
I
happened?
noticed you saw me stir this.
Yeah.
And you gave me a look like I had betrayed you
No.
because I'd stirred
No,
it.
it's like, I forgot I was going to talk to Mike about that.
Okay.
That was, I forgot I was going to tell you something.
Well, see, the reason that I do that is, as I tell Bess, well, you don't have to dirty a spoon. It stirs by it going in, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really because
No.
you get that goodness down at the bottom of the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I like.
Okay, I'm glad I could...
You have,
I've had an influence.
You have influenced me.
Yes.
You've made an impact.
Yes.
This portion of our show is brought to you by a horse. You can pet it, you can feed it, you can have your picture taken with it. It's a horse. Now, back to the show.
Speaking of movies, a couple weeks ago, we talked about Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
And did we get trolled?
Oh, my
Oh.
Lord. You pissed off so many... I was in the trenches fighting for you, man.
I was so pissed. I'm talking about
got so mad.
a Zack Snyder movie,
Yeah.
a Netflix original, and you would have swore I'd called his mother a
Oh,
whore.
my God.
He was so pissed. It wasn't 9 months, it was 9 weeks. And I think it was 9. I'm pretty
Who
sure it was
cares?
months. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're ripping off A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
It
Doesn't
really-
mean it's an original story. You're missing the point.
Yeah.
That was the thing. He was like, it doesn't mean it's original
a
story.
joke. I said it
Yeah.
couldn't have been original because all these ideas were stolen. I'm like, you know what? I'm not the greatest comic in the world. I've never admitted to be.
Yeah.
But come on, man.
That's a joke, boy. You missed it.
So I was in the trenches backing you, and I'm going to
Yeah.
back you officially in the podcast now.
Oh, thank you.
I don't care how good the movie, song,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Once you're watching it and you realize, like the same thing happened with Avatar. It's like, this is Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
At that point, it sucks. In my mind, it doesn't suck, but it loses a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like a great deal is gone at that point. And I wouldn't be able to finish Rebel Moon. Just you describing it, I was like, it's the Bug's Life. It's a Bug's Life.
It was so. And then a friend of mine posted a review calling it the worst movie, one of the worst movies ever made. And they said it was Star Wars with Uruk-hai in it.
Okay.
And I had kind
That
of
sounds
said
like
the
an
same
awesome
thing.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I even said it was entertaining because of how bad it is.
Yeah.
Some movies are so bad they're not
Yeah.
entertaining. This one's entertainingly bad. I actually recommended people watching it.
Yeah.
Watch it to see how bad it is.
Yeah.
Rebel Moon, currently on Netflix. Guys, we're going to go. We want to thank you for listening, and we hope to see you next week on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Irritable Dad Syndrome is a Mike Odell, Darin Cox production.
Do you have anything else to talk about?
Do I?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. It is cold outside.
It's kinda warm
We
in
decided to do the podcast indoors tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that there was like a kid that was like, doom, 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 like louder than me after a good meal. What happened? What happened?
Hey!
How did we get here? And the temperature is described as just cold enough to need a sweater, but not quite.
That's
Just
where my
eat
wife
at
would
their
say
brain.
70 degrees. Is it a cold 70 degrees or a warm 70 degrees? Yeah. I got SpongeBob pajamas for Christmas one year, and they're cute. It was
Yeah.
a gag gift for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
kids. And I thought, man, I hope nobody attacks us tonight because I would hate to, I'd hate to fight off an invader or a home intruder wearing my SpongeBob pajama pants.
Little known fact, peanut butter is made from... Is there butter? There's not actually...
Yes, Mike.
There is butter in there?
Yeah.